I want to show you how we create a prison using words. I'm going to break down 9 basic programs that are used to trap you in. So we got the hip hop nigga in there, he's chilling, he's got his little b-boy stance for shit. Alright? Alright. Now that we have taken our first steps into the matrix, let's look at the big picture. This is only a table because we collectively agree or are taught that it is. Those who bring about these agreements and teachings through words, education, religion, superstition, food, music, time, and light create and control our reality. If you break down the word matrix, ma equals mother, or in this case womb, and trix is an illusion. So we'll put that up there too. We'll say this equals mother, or, womb. And tricks, it's just what it is. I know chicks turning tricks on the head. No, it's an illusion. So in essence, we've been birthed into an illusion. And I want you to keep this in mind because we're dealing with hip hop. Everything is hip hop. We've been birthed into an illusion of what we think hip hop is. All right? All right, bear with the God. All right, it's not real. However, our perception makes it very real. The mind doesn't know what's real and what's not real until perception enters the picture. When one is limited to the basic sensory of perception, which is see, touch, hear, smell, and taste, this makes it even much more harder to determine what is real and what is the matrix. The matrix has written certain programs designed to fool our perception into believing that it is real. In a nutshell, fellas, this is what the matrix is all about. However, we must tap into our sixth sense and beyond to crack open the nutshell to understand the inner workings if we are to defeat it. All right? Words. Let's just make it seem like this is a program. Words. Words. All right? Let's look at that. You know how in the matrix, the numbers and shit is coming down? We want to use letters and shit. So words. All right? Words are power. When spoken, they vibrate. The stronger the word is, the heavier the vibration it carries. This is especially true if it is spoken in one of its original languages like Latin or Hebrew. The old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me, is bullshit. Words can crush you or lift your spirits. Words can motivate, inspire, or enlighten you. For centuries, prophets have been moved the masses of the people armed with nothing more than the words. Monks have been known to chant words like Om for years to raise their vibration. The word itself is composed of the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. The earth is represented by the tongue. Air is needed to form and pronounce words. Water is represented by the saliva in the mouth, and when combined with the movement of the tongue, you spit fire. The Bible states, in the beginning was the Word. When these words resonate from the heart, they hit their targets in the heart, which becomes a measurement of the truth it contains. The Matrix has designed programs to put out this fire and corrupt the word, mainly through the use of the English language. English is a fairly new language and doesn't vibrate very high when its words are pronounced, as opposed to the Hebrew language, which vibrates very high. Now, this is not to say that the Matrix doesn't operate within other languages. It has programs for any and all languages, but English has the lowest vibration and enables the Matrix to receive maximum results from its efforts to dumb down and control the masses. These same words with no power are used to describe and give life to our reality. Once we accept and download these words, we give them power to control our lives. The Matrix then creates an artificial vibration to add to these words, some very high and some very low. Each word is designed to affect you in one way or another. For example, words like racist, anti-Semitic, slander, nigger, pedophile, and so on all carry a negative vibration. Words like black, white, communist, democratic, republican, blood, and crip all carry a divisive vibration. This is how the Matrix uses words to control. It's a complex system with many words having multiple meanings that make it difficult to master. Even if you mastered the English language, you still couldn't defeat the Matrix. Shit, it's like trying to defeat your favorite video game. It knows every possible move that you can make before you make it. However, the English language and the power of words in general puts us one step closer to victory. All right, now the English language is a bunch of shit. You know that. You know, and by using these words, you fall right into what they want you to, you know what I'm saying, how to control you. The spelling, as Brother Phil Valentine broke it down, the spelling of these words is putting you under some kind of hypnosis, you know what I'm saying? So you using their words and they're becoming powerful and you not. Now, as I'll break down a little later, that's why we changed the vibrations of certain words in hip hop. If we kept the word the same but hot, deaf, flavor, we gave them a whole different vibration. You know what I'm saying? And once we changed the vibration, then we was able to use the word in a whole different context. Let me show you how they counted that though. Now they got slang in the dictionary. So now anybody can use the fucking word. Once they start putting our slang words in the dictionary, they're killing the vibration to the word that we created. Now white people can say deaf and great and you know what I'm saying, it's fucking hot, man. Bling bling is in the dictionary now. You see what I'm saying? So once they do that, that's how they counter the energy from the words that we're using because they know this ain't our language. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, fuck it. Speaking in general is fucking low vibration shit. We didn't have to speak. We dealt with, you know what I'm saying, mind to mind. Speaking is when we fell down the chakras. You know what I'm saying? We had to fucking speak, grunt and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's devils and shit like that. Now, let's go back to my next program, a word on the program list. Education. Now you may say, what the fuck does this have to do with hip hop? But I'm going to show you. So now I'm going to show you how you box yourself in. The word education derives from the Latin word educare, which means to draw out that which is in. That means whatever there is to know, you already know. It just has to be brought out of you in a certain way. In ancient times, the methods used to educate included music, storytelling, writings, pictures, dance, and real-life situations that involved a lot of interaction between student and teacher. The rise of our educational system today is structured to force shit and information into us as opposed to drawing out. Because the matrix doesn't want you to rely on what you know naturally. It wants you to rely on what you have been artificially inseminated with. It only wants you to access files that have been downloaded into your brain and not tap into the files that are encoded in your DNA that would give you access to infinite knowledge. Seventh chakra, infinite knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want you fucking with that. From preschool to high school, we are downloaded with the basic educational package of science, history, reading, and writing. Now, math is universal. But the way that it is taught to us stifles our ability to master it properly and use it to unlock the matrix. Albert Einstein said math is the key to the universe. Shit, even he knew that. But didn't he fuck up trying to go hide in 6? He bust his brain cells trying to get hide in 6 or some shit? Trying to go where God can go? You can't go there, player. Bust his brain cells up and shit. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then miseducating us when it comes to math is the matrix's #1 priority. From an early age, we are placed in overcrowded classrooms with dim fluorescent lighting and boring teachers as a part of a dumbed-down process to manufacture robots. The hallways and lunchrooms are gloomy, and it's no coincidence that they resemble prison cells and mess halls. If we follow the program set up by the matrix successfully, that's exactly the course of destination for many of us, from school to prison. We're flooded with information and then instructed to memorize it at a rapid pace. We are then tested to make sure that we have accepted this information as truth. That's what school is all about. You know what I'm saying? This is why I could always flourish in school even when I didn't fucking go. I was out in the hallway puffing weed, but I knew right before the test all I had to do was study the shit. And it would piss the teachers off because I never showed up for class. But I get 80s and 90s on the fucking test. You know what I'm saying? Because I had the ability to retain information. That's all school is about. You know what I'm saying? Truth is the basis of our, this is the basis of our information, education. The better your memory, the more you can excel under this system. However, that's exactly the plan. Have their information seep deep down into the memory bank of your subconscious mind so that you can begin to act out on what you have been downloaded, or what you have downloaded. Once we finish the initial 12-step program, which is high school, we move on to more advanced levels of brainwash programming. So it's safe to say that going to school will only make you dumber. Let me say that again. Going to school will only make you fucking dumb. Wow. All right? It's just that plain and simple. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go in and navigate around things and get something out of it, but if you just dare to be programmed, that's all the fuck you're going to do is be dumber. And the further you advance, the dumber you become, because it only shows how much you have accepted the programs that the Matrix has set up to control you. You are then paid very well for following orders and keeping the Matrix strong. It's important that we become free thinkers and go against the grain of the Matrix, because that's the only way we can short circuit the system. All right? Education, in their sense of the word. All right, I'm lining all of this up. I want y'all to pay attention, because all of this is going to play. When I get dead into just beats and rhymes and shit, this is all going to play a major role. All right. Religion. Ooh. All right, so he's about to be boxed in. You know what I'm saying? With all the bars and shit. All right. Forget my artistic work. Religion is a touchy subject for most, especially if you are operating out of one of the preset boxes that the Matrix has set up for you. Now, let me set this up over here. All right, put a box here. And let's put a box here. Fuck it, put a box there. All right, so in this box we'll put, let's say, Christianity. In this box, Islam and Judaism. Those are the main three, right? So to speak. There's plenty others. Motherfuckers are making up their own religion now. Hip hop is a religion and shit. Curtis Blow has got his own church up in the Bronx. Yeah, he's doing like some hip hop religion stuff. I love Curtis, but Curtis, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna come to your church one day and I'm gonna sit down. I got to do the story. I can't just, you know, blast him out, because he might be on some esoteric shit. His name still Curtis Blow? No, his name might be Reverend Curtis. Reverend Blow. Reverend Blow. Reverend Blow. All right. Religion is a touchy subject for most, especially if you are operating out of one of the preset boxes that the Matrix has set up for you. Each religion has its own box, and its followers are confined to it. Yet they're not confined to it by force. In fact, even if the box had an exit door, most of its followers would choose to remain inside. Even if the box had an exit door, most motherfuckers would rather stay inside. This is because the particular religion that has them confined, whether it's Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, or any other numerous religions that people allow themselves to be boxed into, is all that they know and all that they wish to know. They were born, raised, and born again within the walls of these religious boxes. Even for those who do not believe in God, the Matrix has found a way to turn being an atheist into a religion. Ain't that some shit? Thus creating a box for those followers as well. The Matrix is out to control your mind, body, and soul. And it has a box for each. The mind is held captive in the box of education. And the body is held captive in prison cells. However, the most important box for them to control is the one that contains your soul. That's where religion comes in. Praise God. Long after the mind and body have decayed, the soul will remain. The soul is our direct line to God, the Creator, the Supreme Being, the One, even Lucifer, depending on which box you operating out of. All right, depending on which box you operating out of, right? When functioning properly, this line will enable, the soul is our direct line, right? So when functioning properly, this line will enable one to truly know thyself. Religion has placed a splice in the line and redirected the calls. All right? Why? What is the Matrix? What is it that the Matrix doesn't want you to know about the true link between you and God? Perhaps that you are God. So they use religion to keep the lines tied up and busy so that you can't complete the one connection that can free you forever. Religion as it is used today is nothing more than a tool by the masses to keep us subservient by capturing the highest essence of oneself in a box that's hard for most to escape. Religion is also big business. You niggas is big pimping in the church. Motherfuckers is rolling around on 24s, nigga. Fucking rims is spinning. The reverend is leaned back, nigga, like this. That's serious shit right there. So while they're holding your soul captive in a box, they're also draining your pockets as well. The nerve of the Matrix. Yet all forms of religion are not that bad. There are two basic forms of religion that I like to focus on. Exoteric and esoteric. We talked about that earlier, right? The esoteric is what is given to the masses. It keeps them, the exoteric, it keeps them searching for God outside of themselves. In fact, the very word exoteric means outer. As long as the matrix are looking out, as long as the masses are looking outside of themselves for answers, it allows the matrix to control them. Esoteric means inner. All right, those who study esoteric religion know and understand that the power of God lies within them. That's where the true power of God can be attained. Christianity is the exoteric. Gnosticism or the Gnostic scriptures would be the esoteric. Judaism, outer shit. The Kabbalah or the Tree of Life would be considered the esoteric. Islam, exoteric. That's some outer shit. The Sufism or the Sufi teachings will be more of the esoteric. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the esoteric. Our goal is to conquer each box until there are no boxes left to conquer. It is only then that we can unleash the God within ourselves to bring the matrix to his knees. So when I'm talking, this is right here, this will be the exoteric. Everything seems to be divided apart. But when you go deeper, you see that all them damn boxes are connected. All that shit is the same shit. 3 minutes. Oh, 3 minutes. Okay. So when you're just dealing with religion on the surface of things, everybody's against each other. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, I'm Christian, I'm Jew, I'm this, that. I follow Buddha, I smoke Buddha, you know, whatever the case may be. All of them religions are tied to each other when you start going real fucking deep. Superstitions. I gotta put up the superstitions box. Superstitions. Alright, motherfuckers is boxed in my superstitions too. Alright, I'm gonna blaze through some of this stuff. This is what the Matrix fears the most. One's ability to believe or have faith that an action, object, or circumstance that is not logically connected to the course of events can influence its outcome. Those who believe in superstitions live on the realm of the illogical and unexplainable. In other words, the magic realm. The key to its effectiveness is one's faith and belief. This is the only thing that can give a superstition true life. The Matrix knows that the only way that it can survive and have power over you is your faith and belief in it, and only it. So it has created tons of negative press around superstitions to discredit them. It also uses methods to circumvent energy from superstitions that could generate real power by flooding the mainstream with thousands of made-up superstitions that have no real power at all. This is to confuse and deter you from tapping into power, any power greater than the Matrix. It's also done to keep the superstitions with real power reserved for the chosen few. There are many superstitions that people believe in, like never walk under a ladder, if you break a mirror, 7 years bad luck, black cats are bad luck. When you open an umbrella in the house, don't do that kind of shit anymore. Whether these superstitions hold true or not, or are force-fed to us by the Matrix to confuse us, is besides the point. The fact that these type of superstitions are minute in power and don't threaten the reign that the Matrix has over us is the real issue. So whether you believe that shit or not, it doesn't have no power, so they don't really fucking care. Superstitions in the form of witchcraft, black magic, satanic worship, voodoo, and sorcery are the ones that the Matrix uses all of its forces to make sure that you flee from, yet these are the very superstitions that they guard very heavily. You ever notice that? They give you all that Christianity shit, all that walk on the black line. Don't fuck with this shit. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Because they want to keep that energy source tight. If you keep pulling on, if something is an energy source, let's say this whole shit right here was Christianity, and we keep feeding into it, pulling up that energy. Ain't no energy left in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no energy. Everybody, Jesus, Jesus, shit, ain't no energy there. But the satanic shit, some energy left in that. I'm saying the occult science shit, they don't fuck with. And they do that for a reason. You know what I'm saying? On that note, we're going to take a small break and we're going to come back because we got to change the tape. Peace. shit, I was boring people half to death, so they had to fucking leave and shit. But they are back. All right, so I'm gonna pick up basically what I'm doing. That's my little hip hop character in there and shit, and I'm trying to show you how these are different programs that are run and control us. These particular programs, words, education, religion, superstition, and we moving on. We're boxed in by what we think these things are. Now, once we accept this shit for what it is, it creates our reality, and we become boxed in with superstitions and things of that nature. Now, my man Will just told me something about, as I was breaking down superstitions, when I talked about 7 years bad luck, when you break a mirror, it's supposed to be 7 years bad luck. He was saying that back in the day, mirrors were so expensive that when you broke one, it might be 7 years before you can buy a new one and shit. So that's where that particular terminology comes from. The number 13, and they always tell you that's a bad luck number, stay away from that number. It's because that number actually means what?
Power and dominion over others.
Power and dominion over others. So you got the 13 colonies, 13 stars on flag, 13 stripes, this and that. But some buildings don't even have the 13th floor.
That's right.
They don't even want you to walk on that floor and tap into some shit. You might walk on that floor and wake up and shit. Like, oh shit, I'm God. It might happen. So they don't even want you to fuck with that because they got to preserve that for themselves. So we're still dealing with superstitions, right? So I'm going to pick it up from here. The Matrix will guard the answers to these questions at all costs. Rule of thumb, whatever the Matrix tells you to stay away from, you should run to. Whatever the Matrix tells you is right for you, think the exact opposite. In most cases, this will lead you closer to the truth. Run to witchcraft, run to Satan, run to voodoo and black magic, because it's obvious that there's something there that the Matrix is trying to hide within its superstitions that it deems very dangerous to its existence. All right? So even when you're getting information from off the television, whatever they tell you, if you think the exact opposite of what they say, your ass will be closer to the truth. Understand what's going on, the game that's being played. It's a serious game, all right? The system is set up for logical and linear thought process. It cannot defend itself against illogical thoughts and actions. Believe in the unbelievable. Have faith in forces that the Matrix can't even comprehend. Then sit back and watch these forces go to work on our behalf to bring the Matrix to its knees. So the whole Matrix system of hip-hop is set up in such a linear way that if you begin to think abstract to that, you can fuck the system up. All right? But if you're thinking linear shit, straightforward shit, you know what I'm saying? Then you're going to be falling into the trap. So let's get to the next word that's fucking people up, or the next program, should I say. That's fucking heads up. We'll put it twice. Food. Food. See, he getting boxed in slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? Before he was just chilling and shit, had his hat to the side, and we boxing his ass in with these programs and shit. As I mentioned in the hip-hop ritual, you are what you eat. It's a phrase that we've all heard before, but how many of us truly abide by it, or have even given serious consideration to its validity? If we eat animal flesh, then we become animalistic in our actions. If we eat poison foods, then our thought process becomes poison. It's just that simple. And this law is not just restricted to the physical. If you're mentally eating sex, violence, and destructive behavior, it will most certainly manifest through your physical actions. So if all you're seeing on BET is sex, violence, and drugs, and that's what you mentally intaking, you will then act out, those kind of actions. Excuse me. What the eyes eats feeds the mind. Just as a car needs fuel to run, we too need fuel to operate. Yet the type of fuel that we put in our bodies will determine if we are operating sluggishly or at peak performance. The number one weapon the Matrix used to control us is food. He who controls the food controls the people. Niggas ain't eating, it's going to be some problems. And that's food for thought. Any kind of food, niggas ain't eating, it's going to be some problems. I be driving around with my girl and shit, and I can go a long time when I eating and shit. And her ass will spaz out. She be ready to fucking kill me. And it just be 3 hours and shit. We be riding by, she be like, I gotta eat now. I be like, God damn, she's serious with that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take fast. You know what I'm saying? People make a big deal about taking fast. I can go 9 days and shit, God. I'm from the hood, son. You know what I'm saying? It was days and I couldn't eat. And I was 7 years old. So when you tell me you taking your little fast and shit, I'm not impressed with that shit. Nigga, I eat sleep for dinner. As Biggie said, you know what I'm saying?
Win pie.
Exactly, that kind of shit. 5-cent bums, not knowing where your meal's coming from. That kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? But fasts are good, but don't make a big deal about it. There's families out here who ain't got no food. Many days niggas gotta eat fucking bags of chips. I remember eating a bag of chips and that was dinner. Look, nigga, better take them chips, run along, go play, nigga. Dream about a meal or something. All right. So he who controls the food controls the people. The proper food provides us with nourishment, yada, yada, yada. For instance, eating fruits and vegetables, yada, yada, yada. I don't need to tell y'all that, but I got to put some of this stuff on the tape for these hip-hop cats who may not grasp these concepts, all right? So bear with me for you guys who have fallen asleep, you high advanced metaphysicians. All right. All right, the exact opposite holds true for food that are hazardous to your health. It can weaken the body and, you know, feed us misinformation, disinformation, and keep us totally out of tune with nature. The Matrix has created an artificial environment that we live in. We as a people have adapted well to this environment mainly due to all of the artificial foods that we eat. You know what I'm saying? If we live in an artificial environment, what keeps that going is the artificial foods that we eat. For them, should I say. Foods that have been manufactured by the Matrix, of course. It has served as the perfect conducive to feed us artificial information that we have accepted as our reality. Even if the fruits and vegetables that grow from the earth have been laced with animal DNA and other toxins that make it difficult to receive the necessary information that would enable us to escape the illusion that is the Matrix. Everything that we eat is polluted. In the beginning stages of programming, the Matrix doesn't want to deprive you of food, but to make sure that you overindulge in it. And all the wrong types of food at that. Over a course of time, this makes eating more habitual than essential. All right? Once you develop a habit for food, you become dependent on it. Thus, it begins to master you and you become a slave to it. Once you become a slave to food, the Matrix can then move to phase 2, which is to deprive you of it. We are then at the total mercy of the Matrix. We are in a constant state of devolution when it comes to what we call food. In our highest state of being, we were Solarians. We live off the solar energy and shit. We didn't even need meals and shit. We just, the sun came out, we ate. You know what I mean? All right, then we became liquidarians. You know what I'm saying? Just dealing with liquids, fruitarians, vegetarians, and then, you know, straight up fucking meat eaters. That's what we are now. We just straight up fucking, you know, we just eat anything that moves and shit. At our lowest point, the Matrix has seized the opportunity to set up shop. This has hindered our ability to reascend. We are in an information lockdown, as Brother Phil would say. The food we eat today has no informative value. The answers we seek, food can no longer provide. The creator of the universe is trying to talk to you. He is trying to provide you with the keys needed to unlock the mystery to the Matrix. All right? Yet the calls are going unheard because the channels have been switched. By genetically altering the food, we will only receive messages transmitted by the Matrix, cleverly disguised as the creator. We then process this information as it is authentic. Once it seeps into our DNA, it's a wrap. At that point, every thought that we have ever generated or generated is by the Matrix. This eventually becomes our food for thought. In order to accelerate our exodus from the Matrix, we must begin to take spiritual, mental, and physical fasts, cleansing our bodies in all levels that will help us shed the unwanted pounds of the illusion that the Matrix has burdened us with. It is only then that we can be able to see clearly, think clearly, and tune back into the frequency of the Creator. All right? All the foods we eat. Now, once you become an advanced motherfucker, you don't have to eat it. You can eat any fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you understand that all is mental. You know what I'm saying? The mind overrides all that. But in the state that we are as hip-hoppers, you know what I'm saying? We got to at least run by some kind of guidelines to keep ourselves sort of in tune to what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Every time I turn on the TV, a nigga trying to sell me a candy bar or something, Snickers or something. And rappers are doing that shit now. You know what I'm saying? All rappers do is sell me shit now. You ever notice that? You turn on the radio, that's all the fuck they do is selling me shit. From this to that, that's all they doing. Now I can't even trust what the fuck they telling me because they selling me some shit. Yo, look at this. I'm gonna wash my shoes. I'm I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? What happened to real hip hop when, you know what I'm saying, brothers just drop their messages? You know what I'm saying? And we can tie all that shit back into the architect, Rick Rubin, anyway. With the Run DMC shit, I know Russell was involved with that shit too. You know what I'm saying? With the Run DMC selling the sneakers and shit like that, moved us from one dimension to a next. And I'm gonna break that down as we move into music. That's why we here. The music that we love. They're here about to be trapped in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're about to box homeboy in. All right, music is the gateway. The gateway to what, you may ask? The gateway to healing, the gateway to spirituality, the gateway to inner and outer body experiences, even the gateway to other dimensions. It is the one true universal language that speaks to the highest self of all. Our ancestors used the power of music for all of these purposes and many more. Music for mere entertainment was near the bottom of the scale. The right chord, hymn, or drum sound that resonates to the core of one's essence can work wonders for the soul. As we mentioned earlier, music is for healing. When I want to heal, I throw on Al Green. You know what I'm saying? It's something about that Al Green shit that really takes me to a whole nother level. Maybe because that was my pop's favorite. You know what I'm saying? My pop's favorite was Al Green. And I want to big up my pops, who was licensed to preach at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? He was licensed to preach at 12. He received his lessons at 16 and became Tumar. He also wrote Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye by Gladys Knight and the Pips. My pops wrote that song and sold that song for $40. You know, back then, you know, niggas ain't knowing shit. But my whole family understands what happens then. My uncle, my cousin's pops, he actually holds the Guinness Book of World Records for writing the most songs in 1 year. His name is Gene Kitt. I'm gonna throw that out into the record books and so forth and so on. Big up, Unc. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm sitting up here speaking, I'm like, I'm really at fucking home. This is what, you know, Pops did and so forth and so on. Big up Moms. She passed away. Friday was the 5-year anniversary that Moms went on to the next level. So let me get back to what I was doing. Just wanted to throw that out there because I didn't want to fucking forget it. All right, this allows one to unleash the power of visualization, which is imperative because our ancestors taught that all is mental. Yet we live in a world of dualities. So for all of the positive energy and attributes that music have to offer, there are those who know the science of music well and can use its power for the exact opposite. All right, so we use music for healing. There are motherfuckers who can put shit in music, laced, and this and that to fuck us up. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep that in mind too. There are certain sounds that carry low or negative vibrations that can trigger the dark side of our emotions, like anger, hate, sorrow, and pain. You know what I'm saying? There are also music that are geared toward our conscious and subconscious mind, each having a different effect on our psyche. All right, with the technology of today, like ELF, which stands for extremely low frequencies, the music can easily be tampered with. Harmful messages can be placed into the music that is so low that the naked ear cannot detect, but sound as loud as a boombox to the subconscious mind. Understand that. To the naked ear, you can't hear that shit, but to the subconscious mind, that shit is like speaking to you, like I'm speaking to you now. You know what I'm saying? And you understand the power of certain music. I'm talking about back in the day in the jam shit, when they threw on certain shit, I wanted to get thugged out on these niggas. You know what I'm saying? And certain joints where you just sat back, you know what I'm saying, and you was in your b-boy stance. This shit right here is a science. This is a b-boy. This is some sacred geometry shit. You know what I'm saying? So when they say b-boy, they didn't always mean the niggas was spinning on their head and shit. Nigga, this was b-boy, nigga. Had his hat tilted a certain way, and that's a language I can speak to another brother across the jam in a certain way, like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? This is how we do it, nigga. That's just the way it was. So certain music, you know what I'm saying, just makes you feel a certain way. Certain shit make you want to go out and party, and then certain niggas want to shut the jam down by busting a few shots in the air. That's what we talking about. All right? Y'all still with me, right? Yeah. All right. In the early 80s, Run DMC put out a song called Walk This Way with the rock group Aerosmith. Now, if you play the chorus to this song in reverse, instead of the words saying walk this way, they actually say Hail Satan. Hail Satan! Listen to it closely. Hail Satan! And walk this way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the shit, the reverse shit that's being played on your mind. And you know, them Aerosmith motherfuckers, I'm not surprised they was fucking white boys and shit. It's what they did. You know, I'm pretty sure Run DMC didn't know that at the time. They was just trying to fuse their music, you know what I'm saying, with some devils and create something else. But I'm pretty sure they didn't know that at the time. All right? All right. The Matrix has trained us to think and hear in linear patterns, even though our brains are far more complex. We have taught that if it doesn't make logical sense, then it doesn't make sense at all. This logical portion of our brain, the left hemisphere, is the only 10% of its full potential. And since the average person only uses 10% of the brain's capacity, which is the logical or analytical portion, this leaves plenty of space for the manipulators to work with. They can send hidden signals and messages at the part of our brains that we rarely consciously access. These signs can be right in your face, but just outside of the frequency of the 10% that we are trained to use, and we won't be able to see or hear them. It's like they're invisible. This is why it's hard for the average person to detect or even believe that something so horrible could be taking place. The word music derives from the Greek word muse, which is the culmination of the arts, sciences, and humanities. You know, history, comedy, music, tragedy, lyric, poetry, and dance, erotic poetry, storytelling, astronomy, and heroic, epic, and eloquence. These are all part of the muse. This sounds like hip-hop to me. Shit, just in a different form. Same shit, different day. These 9 muses are cultivated into the creation portion of the right hemisphere of the brain, the 90%. This is how we make the unknown known. It is also the reason that the so-called black people thrive in these areas. We can all do this shit because we're dealing with the creative portion of our brain. Music and art, that's shit we do. We don't have to think about it. We don't need to take no classes, none of that shit. It just is. You know what I'm saying? I had my son, my 18-year-old son, when he was about 11, I sent him to take like fucking classical keyboard lessons and shit. And don't get me wrong, it's good to know how to read music and shit like that, but it was so fucking boring. And he dropped out because it was so fucking boring. But had I had some hip-hop producers come in and play some shit that he was familiar with, you know what I'm saying, because he still can read the music, he would have been more successful. And I had to tell his moms that because she wanted him to play classical Russian music and shit. You know? In fact, the famous Museum of Alexandria, founded by Ptolemy I, whatever the fuck, was a temple of learning dedicated to the muses. Music can free us or enslave us. The Matrix knows this. We must begin to listen to the music again as opposed to just hearing it. There lie the keys to the story being told through the music that can reconnect us to our ancestors and put a ripple in hip-hop's grand design. We must begin to really listen to the music again and get into the music as opposed to just being programmed by the music or only hearing it. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to Eminem rhyme, you're hearing him. You're not listening. That shit ain't tapping into your melanin source. It's impossible for him to fucking do that. You know what I'm saying? Not to get on his case, but fuck him. All right. Time. All right. All of these are still relating to hip-hop. The words we use, your level of so-called education or training that we broke down. It's a religious war going on in hip-hop now and shit. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West, Jesus Walks, shit. They trying. The Wu held up the Wu flag to say, yo, you know what I'm saying? You know, the black man is God. We got the Wu Jew now. You know what I'm saying? He on the board trying to make this a 3-way fucking war on the board. Pay attention. There's a lot of shit going on. Superstition and shit you believe in and shit you don't believe in. The food we eat, you know what I'm saying? The weed we puff that ain't really good weed no more and shit. Shit like that. The very music that we listen to. This shit is our life. You know what I'm saying? Especially these young hip-hop heads, man. It's really sickening. And we're going to deal with time because you got to know how to manage time and understand how they run in this game. It has been said that time is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. If this is the case, then how can we be so caught up in something that is not real? Or how can something that is not real govern our lives? Which leads me to ask the question, are we real? Are these bodies and all that we see around us some form of hologram? Or is it that the only way we can utilize our bodies and participate in this hologram called life, we must be subjected to this thing called time? Yet when we sleep and enter the dream world or the dark realm, you know what I'm saying, the dark side, time seems to be suspended. We can partake in great adventures in our dreams that seem to last for hours. Yet when we open our eyes, only 10 minutes have lapsed. When we're asleep, are we really asleep and vice versa? Or, are we really awake? Could the dream world be the real world where time doesn't exist? If this is the case, then this may explain why we spend so much of our time, 1/3 of our lives, in the dream world. If you live 30 years old and you sleep 8 hours a day, which is supposed to be average, I sleep 8, 9 hours a day. I don't get up for shit. That's 10 years. Now, you can't just discount that 10 years of your life. Some shit is going on in that 10 years. That's a long fucking time to be in the dream world or the other side of shit. You know what I'm saying? So start paying attention to the dream world of shit, because that's really critical. 10 years is a long goddamn time. Even those who black out have no recollection of time. This proves that one can rise above the laws of time. Yet those with the proper knowledge of time can manipulate it as they see fit or use time to manipulate others. Do we really know the exact day and time that we live in? Or are we under the influence of a program written by someone else that has us living on their timetable? You know what I'm saying? That's key. If so, this only serves their agenda. How can we prepare for certain spiritual cosmic events that our ancestors foretold about if we don't know the exact time the events were scheduled to take place? Meanwhile, those who know the time put themselves in position to receive the energy that was meant for us. These white boys are doing rituals, man. You know what I'm saying? Rick Rubin, you saw it in, I gotta say it again, you saw it in Fade to Black. He had the black and the book of black and white magic with the big ass beard and shit. They doing magic. Whether you choose to do so or not, it's on you. But they lined up, they got their shit synced up to certain times and events that take place. All right? The majority of us are subjected to the lowest levels of time programming, a 9 to 5. Our lives revolve around a job that is actually takes up far more time than the 8 hours that it appears to. The before and after effects of a grueling schedule of chasing a dollar, which is equivalent to time because time is money. You know what I'm saying? Which is energy. As Tef breaks down, that shit is, it's really not even about the money because the money ain't worth shit. It's about your energy being involved with something that's not fucking real. You know what I'm saying? All day fucking long, all day fucking long. You know what I'm saying? All day long, chasing shit. And that's time. Time that you need to study. Time that you need to find out what's really going on. This is how they pull up the illusion. A magician's greatest tool is misdirection. You know what I'm saying? So how do you fucking, pull the wool over the whole world's eyes? Misdirection. That's why there's a sports event going on like clockwork. As soon as basketball season is over, football season kicks in, baseball, all that shit is cyclic. And there's a new movie coming out, a new album coming out, a new commercial, a new worldly event. Shit, you barely got time to think for yourself, and you have become robotic, all of us, to a certain degree. All right. This may not seem significant to many, but it is. The more time and energy we focus on the matrix agenda, the less time we have to focus on our own. This makes us time slaves who will never be able to master our own destiny. We all would like to study more, but we don't have time. We all would like to meditate more, but we don't have time. We all would like to eat better, but we don't have time. You know what I'm saying? I like to give my girl that third nut, but I ain't got time. Shit, she lucky she get one nut now and shit. And that's, I'm just keeping it real, but that's just fucked up shit. Because I'm busy, I got other shit to do. I'm making moves and shit. Collectively, our dreams are never fulfilled because time will not allow it. And then we die. So time as it is currently used to contain us is the enemy. Our true understanding of time can make it an ally. This is when time travel and time manipulation becomes possible. Our mastery of time will mean one thing. Our mastery of time will mean one thing and one thing only. Time is up for the matrix. Once we understand that time is an illusion that we living in, and we can bypass that shit, do all that, this matrix that they got set up keeps me on the grind and keep you on the grind and shit. It's a wrap. And the last program that we'll talk about before we get into some real hip hop shit. I don't niggas want to hear about what's going on and shit. Is light. All right? Critical. Under the flesh, we are nothing more than spinning wheels of light. These wheels are called chakras by the ancients, and we broke that down for those of y'all just got here. We did like a hip-hop layman's terms glossary, which for hip-hop cats who are not familiar with certain words and stuff like that, and stuff like chakras, I broke it down to an average hip-hopper puffing an L at home and get a general understanding. So we don't need to really go through that. These wheels are called chakras by the ancients, yada, yada, yada. You know the colors and what they do. Yet the more light we can activate from within ourselves, the more light we can process from outside of ourselves. Melanin-based people can pick up a greater spectrum of rays, including gamma rays and cosmic rays, especially if the proper chakras are activated. The ultimate goal is to raise the energy level from the root chakra to the crown chakra. This will bring about the highest degree of illumination. Illumination means light, and light represents the truth because it allows one to see through the darkness. One of the most powerful secret society calls themselves the Illuminati because it claims to know, which is light, what you do not, you in the dark. And in order to keep the masses in the dark, the art of light deception must be practiced from the most mundane to the grandest scale. From the fluorescent lighting in the classrooms that assist in stunting your learning process to the sun, which is the supreme light of the planet. From the internal to the external, the matrix is in control of the light. What we are trained to eat, drink, and think limits the awakening of the higher chakras. The chemtrails and the aluminum particles sprayed in the atmosphere, which is used to deflect the true light and energy from the sun, yet give off an illusion that we are being fed by the sun, takes care of the outer source of light. That's what these chemtrails is all about. You know what I'm saying? These aluminum particles, when the sun is supposedly beaming, hitting you, you know what I'm saying? That shit is sending some kind of weird reflection of light. When I tell you we in an illusion, we in an illusion. The matrix must keep us suffering from light deprivation because it is the only way that it can really rule over us. Once the light is turned on, the illumination that is the matrix will be revealed. The greatest mystery that the matrix is trying to keep from us is that there is more than one color of light that emanates from the heavens that we can tap into. There are actually 3 colors of light: white, black, and clear. Most of us are familiar with the white light because it makes up the visible spectrum. What we see is what we tend to believe, and that's where the matrix would like to keep our focus to end because it can control what we see. All right, so the black light represents the invisible spectrum or the unseen. The 90% of the universe is invisible to us. Some shit going on out there. You know what I mean? So we want to keep with that. All right, where do we go? All right. When you enter a dark room and you turn on the light, where does the darkness go? It doesn't disappear. It's still there, occupying the same space as the white light. It's just being overshadowed. The black light is also very powerful. So even though the matrix is trying its best to manipulate the white light, we can still raise ourselves up by tapping into the black light. Then there's the most potent of the 3, and that's called the colorless or the God light. This light is basically clear, yet it is what makes up the black and white light. This light is the most dangerous for the matrix. If one can have mastery over the visible and invisible, he or she will be able to truly see things clearly. That's why it's called the clear light. The end result will surely mean lights out for the matrix. Now, by now you're probably saying, well, blacked out. Like, what the fuck does all this have to do with hip-hop? Everything. Our ancestors always taught, as above, so below. What's going on in the heavens is taking place on the earth. There is always a microcosm to the macrocosm. With that being said, we must understand that the same programs that the Matrix has designed to run the world are the same programs used by the Matrix, to run hip-hop, just on a smaller scale. The hip-hop nation is just that, a nation. How can a small group of people in the world control so many? They must have a system in place to do so. You know what I'm saying? How can a minority, a real minute amount of people control so many? They got to have programs running and programs in place to do just that. That system is generally based on the 8 or 9 aforementioned programs that we discussed. I felt that it was pertinent to give you a brief overview of these programs to show you how they relate to hip-hop. Now, they have many books on each one of these subjects, you know what I'm saying, that you can study and get, you know, extensive. And I just wanted to, you know, show you how these relate to hip-hop, because now, after I break this down, we're going to get into some straight hip-hop shit. And I don't want to have to repeat myself because there will be a test. Now, yet the same rules apply for someone trying to destroy a system as well, which is exactly what we're attempting to do, destroy the system called the matrix of hip-hop. So let's get to work. All right? I want to make a few other points real quick before I do that. I had some dedications that I wanted to get out and break down, so I'll do just that. I want to mention my man Tony Tone, you know, Special K's young brother. I told you I grew up with Special K, Chila Rock, Cold Crush Brothers, Keith from the Funky 4 Plus One More, Busy B, Chief Rocker, all these on a personal level. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to my man, The Culture 4, that was one of my first groups. Sean B, Al B, Stevie O, Davey D, Todd Rock, and Raj. Fresh Force, Ramik 120, Mr. Zink, Fresh Rob, Lewski, Mad Mike, Money Ray, who I said was a member of the Cold Crush on my album, want to mention him. You know what I'm saying? Big him up. Big Fella, Van Dam, my partner Chill, Dave, Everlog, Cut King, Jazz, Kenny Scott, who I used to go rock with Kenny Scott. He used to tour, everybody used to tour with Kenny Scott from the BX. Crash Crew would tour with Kenny Scott. The Foursome MCs. This was when they were the Foursome C's. The original Gompa Stompers. I went to Gompa's High School. Tim Dog, DJ Dice, Derek, Keyboard Money Mike, who played the the keyboard, the bass line on The Bridge Is Over. Dum dum dun 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 dun. That was my man. Sed G and Trev from Ultramagnetic. Those are my peeps. So I wanted to big them up and talk about them for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the niggas to say I did a whole lecture and didn't mention their name and shit like that. That wouldn't be nice. All right. Let's get down. Let me clear this board real quick because I'm going to be using it. Y'all good? Yeah. All right.